Welcome back to Callahan's Corner, where you ask the questions, we answer them live right here on Facebook. So today's installment of Callahan's Corner is actually going to be talking about fall cleanups. This can be applied to several other services. So if you don't provide fall cleanups, it may be worth hanging in there. But the idea of the question is, how do we go out and schedule multi-trip fall cleanups or multi-trip jobs? So this could be very similar to a bush and bed package in some parts of the United States or Canada as well, where you have 2 or 3 or maybe even 5 different visits out to trim the bushes. Now, fall cleanup is a little bit trickier because it is going to be condensed and time is of the essence, especially if you're in a northern market before the snow falls. So what I'm going to be doing here is diving in and showing you how to set this up inside Service Autopilot to get the best result in your scheduling. So what we're going to be doing here is I'm going to flip the screen open and minimize it down. So the first thing we want to do out of several steps, I'm assuming you already have an estimate template built out. But what we're going to do is we want to create 3 different services. So fall cleanup trip 1, 2, and 3. And we're also going to want to have a pricing matrix behind this. And it's based on lot square footage. So from 1 to 5,000 square feet is $500. And then every 1,000 over 5,000 is an additional $100. Now, this isn't something you want to base your pricing on. You want to base it on your production rates and your equipment. But the idea here is we want to set up 3 separate services, or maybe 4 if you have multiple trips. In addition, inside this, you also, if you have a leaf loader that runs separately behind these crews, we also want to create a leaf loader trip 1, 2, and 3, so we can go out and track the disposal removal as well. This is going to keep basic just to the actual crew, and assuming that you have the truck loader to load the leaves in the back of the unit in the same crew. So what we've also done here is I've created some different ways of doing this, but I'm going to go in and show a high-low price opportunity where you can go out and price, say, like a residential home based on a difficulty level of 1, 2, and 3, based on tree coverage or fence lines, things like that. What we've done is broken out a minimum price for level 1 and created a rate matrix around that. So the base price to show up is $250, and that covers 1,000 square feet for the minimum. And on the maximum for level 1, we've gone in and created a secondary pricing matrix for $350 as the high base price. So between $250 and $350 is the range for up to 10,000 square feet, and it's an additional $35 more on the high level per 1,000 square feet. So this will make more sense in a minute. But the key thing is, whether you're doing exact pricing or high-low pricing, you want to create those out, and you want to create fall trip 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to go in then and create a master package. So this is where the scheduling goes in. Now we can also go in and do a 3 separate jobs for the cleanup itself, but I'm going to recommend a package because this is going to help us keep track of where everyone is at. And if we go past the desired end and start date of each round, then we know we're in trouble. So I'm going to go in and just label this .000 fall cleanup 3 visits. And this is exactly what we did in my business. So in the Northeast up here, we would traditionally go out. The first week of November would be the first round. About a week and a half to 2 weeks later would be the second round. And then the end of November, beginning of December, depending on the weather, would be the third round. But definitely our commercial HOAs had a minimum of 2 visits, first week of November, and then usually the 3rd or 4th week of November. So what we're going to do is just go in and pull up our fall cleanup trip number 1, fall cleanup trip number 2, and fall cleanup number 3. Now I'll put the zeros in front of it just to find it live on the Facebook here. But we're going to want to put some start and end dates in here. So let's say the first round, just like we did at Callahan's, was the first week of November, and it should be done no later than, let's say, that Wednesday. Now that next one is going to be from 11/11 all the way through, let's say, that Saturday. And then the 22nd, obviously we're not working on Sunday, but that's the earliest it could be billed out, or actually we'll overlap to the 21st. And then that last one would be say December 5th. So there is no minimum days in between, or maybe there is. Maybe you want to make sure there's at least 5 days between cleanups so the leaves that are in the trees can continue to fall and you're not backing that up. So let's say these have to be at least 5 days in between for consistency. And what we're going to be doing is naming the service here, fall cleanup trip number 1, number 2, and number 3. So now what we've done is really defined a scheduling rhythm or cadence based on desired time slots. Now, if it rains all week or we get freak snowstorm, that's okay. But what's going to happen now is on the waiting list, when we do these particular package jobs, it will turn red. So that's going to give our dispatcher or whoever's managing this a heads up that, hey, we're past the desired time. And we're going to make the renewal on this next year, 2021, and we're going to make it probably September 1st, because we're probably, if you're using SimpleGrowth automations, we're going to go out and start upselling that probably the beginning of the middle of September to go out and fill that schedule before the leaves even start to turn. So if you have any comments or questions, drop them in. But now what we've done, just as a quick review, is we've created high-low price ranges. So we can go out and quote high-low price range for the cleanups, or if we're doing commercial, we're going to have exact price range for fall cleanups. Then we're going out and creating 3 services for visit 1, 2, and 3 for scheduling purposes. Now it's actually time to go out and estimate these jobs, and I'll show you how this all plays together. So what we're going to do is go in and go to property measurements, and we're going to drive this off of satellite imagery. So whether you're using Smart Maps or Maps Pro, basically the one same thing. It just depends where they're at. Whether you're using V2 or V3, we're going to go into satellite and we're going to zoom in and we're going to use our test account here, but we're going to go in and make some property measurements. And I'm going to label this here lot square footage. And that's where we're going in and measuring the lot square footage for the cleanup. So I'm actually going to go in and try to get right next to the house because we're going to be covering those beds as well. So your turf square footage may be a little bit different versus your lot square footage, because we've got beds and this yard doesn't have that many big beds, but you may have some large beds that need to be blown out or vacuumed up or cleaned up. So we've covered our turf square footage here, or our lot square footage, I'm sorry, and we're going to assign that to a custom field. And the one we did is 000 lot square footage. So we'll find that here in a second, hopefully. You would probably never have this many custom fields, but in this test account, as we do these Facebook Lives, we continue to pump them in. So it may be time to clean this account up just a little bit. But we've got our turf square footage, our lot square footage. Let me see if I can do a Control F here. F. All right, so we're looking for lot square footage. If anybody sees it while they're watching live, let me know. But I did grab the turf, so I'm guessing 0 turf square footage or lot square footage has got to be around here somewhere. But obviously you would never have this many, but I want to show you as it loads the, there it is, lot square footage, and we're going to hit save. Now we've saved this. We probably want to go really light color and choose and save. So every time we pull this up, we know the area that we're covering for the lot square, or the lot square footage for the cleanup versus turf square footage for mowing or fertilizing. Now what we're going to do is scroll down and we're going to add an estimate. Now you can tell if you're using Service Autopilot, these 3 distinct boxes across the V2 screen are going to signify it's a client, not a lead with a long gray bar. We're going to go into templates, and I've built out a template already, and it is our high-low fall cleanup price. So I'm going to pull that in, and I must have grabbed the wrong square foot or the wrong custom field. So let me just pump in some I'll call it 8,000 square feet so you can see what happened here. This would automatically pop in, but I grabbed the wrong custom field on the fly with a little pressure. Facebook friends here. So what we have here is a high-low price scenario. So our level 1 is covering, it's 250 to 300. And then we have a level 2. So I should have probably checked before the video, but you kind of get the idea. We have a high-low price range. So what we're going to do is just quote level 1 here. So it's between 250 and 350 square feet based on the lot size. Now, obviously, level 2 would have different pricing So I must not have updated this, or obviously I didn't update it before the Facebook Live. Should have checked that. But you get the idea. Level 1, level 2, level 3 would basically be the same base price of 250 square feet, but it would cover less square footage. So let's put in 5,000 here just to see if that changes it. And it does. So actually it was hitting it, but based on the level, it didn't hit the threshold. So this was actually updated the way it should have been. So this calculation field would load in based on the square footage quoted. So level 1 is between 250 and 350. Level 2, which is more difficult, is between 312 and 437. But we're going to quote level 1 because this is a wide open yard if we're using the example there. And we're going to go in and hit save. And I'm going to email this to myself so you can see what the high-low price range looks like. And then I'm going to go out and show you how to schedule this service, whether it's fixed price or high-low price range with the different ranges we've just built out. So I'm going to email this out here. And there should be a document here that's going to go in. So I'm going to insert one of our documents. And we'll just use the first one. So actually, I'm going to skip the email just because it looks like nothing is connected here. So I probably should have checked that ahead of time. But either way, the estimate document here is going to show up as fall cleanup level 1. And you'd obviously change the verbiage here, but you've got the amount of 250 to 350. And there'd be one checkbox to accept it. So they wouldn't be able to accept the higher low, but that is going to reflect that there. So that's how that would work. I'm going to actually see if I can change the document here so this all links together for us. And let's go with this one, see if this works. So things not to do live on Facebook, you should double check it before you go live. But these things will happen in your office as well, and we aren't perfect as well. So there we go. So this is what it would look like if we had the right document connected. And that email would have a clickable link. They could check the checkbox here, and we have a minimum maximum price for the fall cleanup. So once that's accepted, we want to go back to the client and add a package job. And what we're going to do is select the package of fall cleanup 3 visits. And we have this loaded in here. Now, if we had accepted that estimate and scheduled off it, we would have all 3 ranges. But if we were at that 350 rate per visit on the high side, I'd recommend scheduling on the high and then double check your hourly times on the closeout day screen and adjust as needed. But we've got our 350 here, and I believe that was, let's take a look at that estimate. 250 and 350. So we've got our $350. That was the max price, and we'd have our budgeted hours in there as well. So probably if that was about a 9-hour job, we would have our 9 hours budgeted in there, and we'd have our team associated. So you'd go in, and this is how you'd tackle that up. So package renewal would probably be call to renew. Most of these do not auto renew. We'd assign it to cleanup crew number 1, 2, or 3. If there was conflict days, if you're still mowing or fertilizing, we'd want to select the conflict days there, and there is no package discount. So once you put that in there, the first round in between 11/1 and 11/11, next one between 11/11 and 11/21, and then 11/21 and 12/5. So we'd hit save, and now that is going to go into your scheduling dispatch jobs, and your waiting list will populate with those jobs in there. So you're going to go out and dive into your closeout day screen here once this loads and select the appropriate date range. So you'd go into today's date this week. And we'd go to the waiting list. And you can see some of the older ones here are all in red, but we would go in and there is that first test job for cleanup number 1. So we could go in and click that and actions dispatch. And that would take that to your dispatch board. And this would be what it would look like if we were past the desired high-low price range. So what I'm recommending is creating a master package and dispatch off that package with projected start and stop times for your fall cleanups. So that is the process. And if you want to use a high-low price range to protect you and your customer, that's also the process there. So comments, questions, drop below. Callahan's Corner. You ask the questions, we answer them live right here on Facebook.